Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. We have a fantastic episode today because we have an amazing guest and an amazing topic. We're going to get into some really cool stuff on specifically an alternative to the whole millionaire real estate agent team model. So this is going to be an insanely interesting discussion. Doesn't matter if you have a team or not. In fact, this episode today is probably best if you don't have a team, but you feel the pressure from all the industry and everybody else, maybe your broker and your team leader or whatever, on starting your own team. We have a completely different kind of viewpoint to present you, a different idea on how to do that. So if you're joining us live, we just want to thank you. We'll have some more people hopping on as we go along. But if you're watching the replay on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, and then iTunes and Stitcher, make sure to hit subscribe there if you want the audio version nestled between your ears where we so belong. Right, Greg?
So deep and good, yes.
All right. Thanks, Greg. So the junior grandmaster himself, he's in the co-pilot seat. He's with us today, as always, despite the fact that apparently Nirvana, the remaining members of Nirvana, or maybe their kids, have decided to set up outside your building and do a band rehearsal.
These fucking ass-tards. I gotta tell you, dude, it's fucking Murphy's Law, man. It's been dead crickets quiet around my office all damn day, and then as soon as we're about ready to go on, it's these prepubescent little midgets of human beings marching around out there like a bunch of fools, banging on cymbals like monkeys, like right outside my fucking window. And I'm like, how are we going to do a great interview if I can't concentrate because I have monkeys with cymbals outside my window?
I would like to submit that we can mute your audio, and that will make for a much better interview.
Shut up.
I had to get that dig in. Okay, so let's bring in our special guest. Char, what's up today?
Hey, not much. It's my birthday.
That's
Happy
right.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Char. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
To you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We're a little off on our harmonies. I tried to get Greg to do a third part or maybe a fifth. He wasn't having it. He insists on carrying the melody. I don't know what his deal is.
Oh, yes, I am.
Exactly. You don't want me singing, trust me.
We don't? Are you sure? I don't know.
Positive.
Okay.
No, my sister and I, when we always joke around when she was in a bad mood in high school or whatever when we were growing up, we'd always just get in a car and go drive, but we suck on such epic levels of singing that we just turn the volume all the way up, and then we sound magical, and we feel better about ourselves. It's like a therapy session on four wheels.
One time I made a mistake of recording myself and listening to it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Not good. Not good.
Yeah, that's already even for professionals. Yeah, nobody. That's no fun. All right, Char. So give us the 60-second version on who you are, where you are, and what you do.
And what's your favorite color?
My favorite color, olive glitter. I'm Char Klisares. I am a real estate agent in Des Moines, Iowa, and I've been in the industry a little over 3 years, about 3.5 years, and entered into an industry where I wanted to make sure I just walked the walk and led the way of coming from contribution and leaving people better than where I found them. And it has actually evolved into this wonderful new way to do real estate, and is a learning process along the way, but where it is at now, it really feels absolutely amazing, and it's a win-win for every single person involved in the real estate transaction.
So you found the easy button of real estate.
Exactly. I need to get one.
I have my pen. Let's go.
Yes, I did. You know what is the saying? It's simple, not easy. That would probably be, yeah. It's a very simple understanding, but if you don't have the right mindset going into it, it will be hard to wrap your mind around it all.
I love it. This means I'll be able to retain it all if it's simple. Keep it simple, and I can do it.
Hey, Char, what'd you do before you got into real estate? I didn't realize you were only a few years into the business.
Right. I did business development for some major companies, some vendors in the trades. I had held some positions within the industry. I was a past president of Professional Women in Home Building, got active on legislative affairs, did a lot of just networking and having a really thorough understanding of just the industry.
Okay.
That's where I fell in love with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Awesome.
Yeah. Works great. I was never a business owner. I had my own team or anything. I was just under somebody else's umbrella.
And so you saw how you could make a lot of money in the business, but how the agents were just not, they weren't seeing the light because they're doing it in one way. You're like, but there's another avenue you can make a lot of money and not work. See, this is what you guys been looking for.
Yes. And the seeds were, the seeds were planted, but just sitting back and getting real with myself and looking in the mirror and finding parts of it that I didn't like, or experiences that didn't go the way I expected. How can I go back and revamp it? Because the only thing in the whole process I can control is me.
Yeah.
And so what can I do? So it's made for a great experience.
That's so awesome. It goes right in hand with what my father always told me about this business. You bring two things to this business: your time and your knowledge, right?
Yes.
And so again, that comes back to controlling you and what you can put out.
Yes.
So I don't know about you, Matt, but I think you should stop talking and we should let Char start, the interview.
How about we go another direction? So I'm going to mention a couple of things just for that, just as revenge. I'm gonna turn the camera focus so it can't possibly go to you, Greg. And I'm going to mention a couple of things, and then I'm going to throw a question out to you both, and you guys can riff on this. So number one, just one quick thank you to Viral Marketing for helping make podcasts and hangouts like these happen. Greg, go to gregsmarketingexamples.com. And watch the video where Greg breaks down exactly what they do for him. And then check out Homing In, a great app. You can download that for free and see what that's all about. Basically allows homeowners to request valuations from actual agents like you, so there might be leads in your area because homeowners are downloading the app at a faster rate than agents. So go check those two things out. So there's one question that caught my eye because we're going to get into to lead follow-up because it ties in really nicely with the team structure that Char is going to talk about. So this question on the lead gen scription objections group caught my eyes from Daniel Edelsberg. He asked, what do you guys do when you're away from computer after you've made your prospecting calls and then you start getting return calls coming in and you don't know, like, you made some expired Facebook calls, whatever. You've made some calls that morning outgoing. Now you're getting return calls in. You're away from your computer. How do you handle that and how can you make that easier on yourself? So let's start with you, Greg.
How do I handle? Can people see me now again, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want to burn their retinas.
Yeah. Well, you do have a very red shirt on. I have to point that out.
Yes,
for those of you listening by audio, it's yeah.
In Fuego.
I don't know if that color exists on the Pantone wheel, but it shouldn't.
Shut up. All right. This is my red shirt, Matt, and I didn't want to dress up because it's 100 degrees out that damn window right now. So it's shorts and a polo shirt for me.
All right. So lead follow.
How would I handle it? You know what? Be a human being. When the person calls up and goes, hello, hey, I got a call from you. I say, oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was actually doing some outbound cold calls today, and I was looking for folks that might be thinking of selling. Did you get my message? Is that why you're calling me back? And they're like, yeah, I got your message. I'm like, oh, great. You guys thinking about selling? It's like, why mess around? Let's just cut to the point and ask them a question. Are you thinking of selling? Yes? No? Great. What else can I do to help you? Bing, bang, boom. End of story. I mean, there's no rocket science to it. If they're going to sit there and yell at me, go fuck your mother, oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for that tip. Never thought about that. Get right on it. Okay, bye now.
All right. Let's quickly move on from Greg. Char, what's your perspective on that? Good Lord.
Well, and a lot of mine is if I'm caught away from the computer is just to make sure that you thank them for calling you back and build some excitement, or just letting them know that you're here and that you've answered their phone or answered their call and that they've caught you away from your office, and ask those questions, those qualifying questions of, were you just returning my call? Oh, I'm so happy that you called me back. I understand that you're looking to sell. What's your time frame? And just start having that conversation, because it all leads to the same questions. It's just finding the segue that's going to get them there. I don't have to be in my office to do that, and then just getting them to give me some FaceTime, because once I get in front of them, I'll get the listing.
Yeah, so it's basically not psyching yourself out, like not having to have all of your notes in front of you, just saying, hey, are you still looking to sell? And that's the segue into just your standard like LP Mama framework or something like that, just to get there, just to qualify them. But that's the segue right there. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. So Greg, do you have any shout-outs you want to get to real quick before we dive into Char's story?
Yeah, I got a couple of good ones. I've been taking notes all week, actually. Well, not all week, since Monday's show, because they keep flooding in from all different areas. So I'm going to go as quickly as I can, but I want to make sure I don't leave anybody out. They're really funny. Dave Miller, YouTube, loves what he's watching. So Dave, man, boom, knuckles to you, player. Love that you're here watching us. He says thank you, and we're doing a good job. Thank you for putting on what we're putting out. YouTube, Miss Kitties, that's her nickname. I don't know who she really is. I knew you would love that. It says
we all know it's Char. Come on now. I'd recognize that YouTube handle when I heard it.
She really likes our videos. Keep it up. Deborah is learning a lot from the show. She speaks 3 languages and excited to work the vacation market down in Florida. She's just getting into the business. Super pumped for her. She's learning how to do it from us. Ann Diaz Mendez. I talked to her, and she's going to take on the 25 business card challenge on a daily basis to kind of build her business. Chris Smith was a Facebook message. New agent. Booked him up for the McDaniel Challenge for August 25th. I gotta tell you about the McDaniel Challenge, Matt. We're almost crushing into the no month.
September.
Huh?
September.
One more appointment.
Well, let's quickly get through the shout-outs, and then so you can actually tell people what you're talking about.
This is my time to talk. Okay.
Your time to talk quickly.
I am going quickly. Stop pestering me. Amy, she lives here in the area. She's not even in the business, dude. She works for the county recorder. She's watching our stuff, loves our videos, and she gets a crack up out of it. So I'm like, great. Now I have my in for the county recorder. And then Josanne Cortez just found our show, new agent. Our show is a big motivation to her, getting great tips and tricks. So, you beautiful, amazing, wonderful human beings, you keep those comments coming. I want to hear from you in Facebook messages, text messages, calls, everything else. But we're going to first talk about Char, and then we're going to talk about how to get a hold of him. So, Char, talk to him.
Well, can I give my own shout out real quick to 2 people? First and foremost is from my business coach, Hank of Inc., who just helps keep me focused and focusing on the larger picture. And without him, I definitely would not be where I'm at right now. So I appreciate that. And also my local broker, Rob Spearman, and his ability to just trust and not try to contain somebody when they're thinking outside the box. Because without his support, none of this would be able to happen.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Hank is actually how we connected. Yes. Hank is the man. So seriously, like if you want to get to the next level, and reach out. I can introduce you. So if you're connected with me on Facebook at Pursuing Results, I can introduce you. But yeah, Hank is a really phenomenal guy. Former KW Bull coach, has been all over the country, taught some of the best agents in the country, prospecting, and but then has gone on to now start his own coaching company. Is just a phenomenal guy and a phenomenal coach. So I second that shout out. So Char, let's dive into your story, and what were some of the I guess what's the roadblock? Like everybody's read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. We all understand kind of the model and what's being essentially being like funneled, especially if you're in KW. You're really funneled into that area. I mean, whether it's MAPS coaching or anything else. I mean, that's the Bible that everything is taught out of, right? So what was the roadblock that kind of got you thinking and looking for other alternatives rather than just keep beating your head against the wall and trying to build that same model?
Some of the roadblocks were having to slow down to learn it. And then once you learn it, in order to master it, you had to take things up to 10 times. And I just don't have that amount of time. And I have the business coming at me now. And so when I had taken some of the training and slowed down and had implemented some of the things that I thought needed implemented, they took so much time, and I thought I put people in the right position, and it took me out of production to implement all of these. And at the end of it, even coming from contribution, of coming from a place of truly helping, earlier this year, or it was actually last year, I had helped a gentleman get into real estate, and this year I brought on a second gentleman and had just given them everything that I had in me to that point, to just find out that it wasn't enough. And it wasn't enough because I didn't have enough. It just wasn't enough because of the way the structure is there was a lot of everything coming back to me doing it, myself being the one who has to implement all the systems. And I needed to find something that would be kind of a self-feeding, a reward for hard work, if you will. Not that the first approach was not hard work, but my production numbers went down drastically. And then as soon as I started implementing this system, immediately overnight my production numbers went right back up, and now they're exceeding any goals that I had. I mean, Hank and I sit back every month and we're just kind of rubbing our heads going, this is working.
Yeah, did you want to share kind of where you're sitting at right now and what your results are?
Yes, absolutely. I should probably pull those up. I'm going to kind of do a little tap dance while I'm pulling those up. The first few months this year, my production was cut down to almost none because everything coming into my business, all the leads coming into my business, I was feeding to these agents that I had brought in to my team under a traditional team structure. And they were fairly new in the industry and didn't have a lot of experience, and they themselves needed training, and they were coming to me for that. So immediately, in the first 3 months of production, my activity sheet's coming up right now. In January, I closed one. That's not good.
One.
Yeah,
Okay.
not
Single.
Good.
Like uno.
Yeah, uno. And January, February, and March, I closed 4 transactions in those 3 months. And March is where I got rid of the old team structure, just came back to how can this be done different? How can it be done not just different, but better and at a higher level that really aligned with who I was. And in May, June, and July, I went from, August I did 4 transactions. In May, I did 11 transactions. And in June, July, I'm at 6. This month, I'm projected to get 9. So immediately, within 45 days of implementing this, I wrote $2 million in May, which real estate prices in the Des Moines market, you're at about 180 to 190 is the average price point. So that's the month I did 11 transactions. So taking it back in under my umbrella, getting rid of all of the, not only was it time, but it was just my energy it was a time suck. It just would drain me because on my best day, I can't be everything to everyone. And even with the best intention, I was pissing people off left and right. And that's not it's my gift, but it's not my gift. It truly was not my goal to piss everyone off. So sitting back and listening with open ears to the people who I had helped get in the industry and hear where they were complaining or what they had issue with had me implement this structure. So I sat down and talked to my broker, made sure it was okay because it is a little outside the box of what a lot of companies, if you're not chasing the dollar, you'll be able to understand this. My issue I have right now is I have so many leads coming in. There's not enough time of the day for me to follow up. I'll follow up on listing leads, but for every 5 listings I manage, I can only do 1 buyer for the time trade-off and how I've got my listing part done.
Just about 4 times on average, right?
Yes, absolutely. And a year and a half ago, I switched my focus from buyers into listings, and I want to stay at that 80% of my business is listings, and the only buyers I help, I sold their home.
Right.
And so I'm not completely getting away from the buyers because I like some of that aspect, but I do have a responsibility to my sellers to answer the phone and field through any and all leads that come my way. Mm-hmm. And the issue with that was when I get on the phone with a buyer, they like me, and they want to use me, and I can't, there's not enough time in the day. I've got to focus on the listings. So what I did is I started going to the lenders because I want to make sure that when I'm partnering with an agent, it's an agent who's a good agent. And in the industry, everybody has an opinion on in the industry, being the real estate industry, when you ask the agents who's a good agent and who's not, I mean, they're really truly given more of a personal opinion and not necessarily seeing somebody in the line of business of production.
Yeah, it could just be someone they connected with at a networking event. They just like them on a personal level.
Right, exactly. And so as real estate agents, we get hit up a lot from different lenders. And I've got my certain lenders that I do business with, and I don't want to mess up with that balance because it integrates very nicely with our systems. But there's a lot of great lenders out there. And so now I'll reach out to lenders, or more likely they're reaching out to me, and I will say, well, you know what, can you give me the name of 2 agents that you're working with right now, regardless of brokerage, who are doing really good and maybe could use a little bit more business? And so those lenders are the ones who know, because they're seeing them when they give the pre-approval. They're seeing them at the close table. Do they have happy clients? Are they have they pissed off their clients? And so they'll start giving me their names. And so I'll reach out to these agents, and I'm going to meet with them and ask them if they've got some time to have some extra business, and if they'd be willing to take some of my buyer leads that are coming in for a referral fee. And I haven't had anybody tell me no yet. And they don't have to pay anything to be on this board. It's not like Zillow where you've got to pay a couple $100 and you don't know what you're going to get. And so what we do, right? So what we do is we created.
When are you franchising out into California again? Because that would be super.
Right, and so they can be on this board, and what it is it's almost like a room. And when we get a lead in, I've got right now it's my admin, and she's bonused 5% of whatever this board brings in. So she monitors it 24/7. If she didn't want to do it, I'd find somebody else who wanted to just get bonused on what this brings in. And when we get a lead in, she steps in the room and she'll say, who's available? And so that way, if some of the agents have kid stuff, it's a birthday, whoever's available will be the first one that raises their hand and says, I'm available. And we'll partner them with that agent within 10 minutes of the lead coming in. So that buyer is getting an immediate follow-up, immediate response. My sellers know that somebody's immediately following up to find out what this buyer needs or wants. It could just be a nosy neighbor who's calling, and we don't know, but I'll help them. So this is a win-win for the lenders, because when I'm reaching out to these agents, I'm letting them know, hey, Bank XYZ gave me your name and said that you're just awesome, wanting to know if you'd be on this board. And the intention is, if that lender is doing their job and building that relationship with the agent's going to go back and give that business to the lender if it's trusted. And so you can always make sure that you've got a good lender, you've got a good agent. My buyers are happy because they're getting somebody. My schedule is very busy, and so if a buyer called me right now and wanted to go see a home, I have to visit my schedule and see where I have openings, and that's truly not what this industry should be doing. I mean, we've got buyers who, especially if they're in the middle of transition, if that's selling their house or even just buying a house, the thing that we cannot forget is that there's usually a life event that's going on that predicates real estate. And it's either good or bad. It could be a marriage, a death, a birth, good or bad. There's something else going on in their life. And so for us to make sure that we're taking care of somebody in the moment that they need it is what our industry should be doing. Yeah. And so partnering them together, having the buyer's agent know they're representing them. If they buy the house that they called me on or another house, I'm getting a referral fee when that gets written. My sellers, I'll never represent a buyer against them. So they have peace of mind of knowing there's not going to be an awkward moment in the future that I'm going to be helping a buyer against them negotiate a contract. The other brokerages in town, it's business that their agents are going to be able to get and write that they didn't have to pay some third-party source. This is because they're good. They're raising their hand. As agents in this room, what I do is I do a Tuesday morning coaching call. It's early morning, like 7 to 8 o'clock. It's a dial into a free conference call, and we'll just mastermind and script on, what objections have you had, what can I help you master, and so it's creating better agents in the industry. Now, since I've implemented this, some of the things that I didn't see coming that have really helped is now it's also making it a better experience with my sellers. And what I mean by that is, because I represent a seller, and when they go to buy, we never know when that house is going to come on the market that they're going to buy. And so right now I'm on this podcast, and one of my sellers wants to go see a house that just came in a hot area of town that we got to get into because they sell in 2 hours. If I don't answer, my phone automatically goes to my admin, and she'll go to this referral board and say, hey, is there an agent who's available to go show a home? So my sellers are now always guaranteed that they're going to be able to get into these homes. If the agent writes that contract, or if they end up purchasing the house that the agent showed them, I will pay that agent a 25% referral fee for opening the door for my buyers. And if they don't end up purchasing, I'll pay them $20 an hour for showing this house. And the reason why you pay hourly is I want them to slow down. And so when you're showing someone and you're paying them hourly, it makes them slow down, because if they don't think that they're going to get the 25% referral fee, at least they know they're going to get paid by the hour. So they're going to slow down the experience and not try to rush through it.
So that one-bedroom condo just turned into a 3-hour showing.
Yep. Because the experience is what we need to remember on our clients of how are they walking this walk. And they should not be. I had heard once a buyer was sharing with me her frustrations with the agent I partnered her with, and it was that, every time she calls to say, I need to see this, she's hearing, oh, but I've got this, and I've got this, and I don't have time till here, but I've got an hour this afternoon. And he had never taken into consideration what her schedule would be. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it just slows down the process. The agents come a lot more prepared with information in case they have to write the offer.
Interesting. Now, what have you seen about, so the quality of the experience for the buyer has skyrocketed. The level of professionalism in the agents has risen because they're going, okay, I got one shot at this. I'm going to make it rain, so I'm going to bring all my stats, all my reports, all this information so then the buyer feels appreciated. You're looking like an absolute rock star, and your sellers are happy because maybe they're getting one of their homes sold by one of these agents.
Right.
Now, where did you come up with this? How did you come up with this idea? And I think it's absolutely genius. Okay, mm-hmm. But I just want to know where this spawned from.
It spawned from just examining the frustrations of the system the way it was currently implemented. When I had started a team last year, I truly was coming from contribution, and it wasn't about making money off agents underneath me, but that's how they felt, was that they were underneath me and I wasn't helping build them. And that's not what this is about. I'll build my own self. And so this whole process is about helping agents get into production. If they need some coaching or some help along the way, will come from contribution. And as we build a better industry, it's going to build a better experience. And then, you know what, the forced sale by owners, not that there's anything wrong with them, but you know what, when you have an industry that is just filled with some of the highest level-minded people in the industry, it's not going to occur to somebody that, oh, I could just throw a sign in my yard and I can do it myself.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. The reason why I don't have a great question for you, because I'm trying to figure out how to put this into action in my area.
Well, yeah, that's the next question. So let's dig into the specifics a little bit more. I have a couple of questions. Number one, let's go into the handoff process, and I think a lot of people would be curious about. Okay, so lead comes in. First of all, who's making the initial call, and then how is that follow-up going down?
The initial call is made from the agent that's on the referral board.
Gotcha. So you're not. This is not like a marketing qualified lead. You're passing off the raw lead. Your gal is going in there, the one that gets the 5% override. She's saying, "Raise your hand. Here's a lead," and then the agent is making that first contact, hopefully within the first 10 minutes.
Correct. And even if they are, we'll pre-qualify to a certain level. If we pre-qualified where I sat down with a buyer and I'm doing a pass-off, that would be a 50-50, a 50-50 referral. But I got to tell you, I don't then much of an issue. I get some referrals that are buyers that are trusted with me, and depending on who it is, if it's from one of my sphere of influence, I'll take care of them. But for right now, they just come in. As they come in, you know what, it's a balance if you're going to take the good with the bad, and some of them are going to be the neighbor who, I do a really thorough, great marketing platform out there, and so we just get a lot of phone calls and leads that come in.
So that was actually one of
that was my next question too.
Where are they coming from?
Yeah.
They're coming from everywhere. When you have a lot of listings, you're going to get a lot of leads that come in, and so
you're not paying. These are not just random buyer leads from Facebook ads and stuff like that. These are mostly generated off of real listings.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, yep, they're all from that. And so if they don't have an agent, they're going to need an agent. If it's not on this house, they're going to need it for another house. Mm-hmm. And so the pass off goes when the agent gets the lead, they'll call and say, "Hi, I'm Amy. I'm the agent on call for Char Klisares' team."
That's great. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah. How can I help you? Oh, well, we want to see 123 Main Street. We're out in front of the house, and we want to see it now. Not a problem. Let me get it. One of our team members and trusted agents. We'll be right out."
Yeah, and it needed that because at first when women would follow up, it was never a question, but it was the guys who were on the referral board when they were calling, and they could tell that they had stumped when they had called somebody, and they would say, "Hi, this is Joe," and they said, we need a better script. So those Tuesday morning calls of coaching has helped kind of work out some of the wrinkles, and now it's just, if somebody calls about a house that is sold or gone pending, teaching them, hey, listen, if they're still follow up with them. Yeah. Because they're calling about that, and just say, you know what, you missed this one, but if you give me your email, I can make sure you don't miss the next one. And building from there and not just taking that first no.
So this room that you're discussing, is it like a private Facebook group when you send out a Facebook message out to them, the first person responds gets it, right?
It's an app that we use, but you could do it in a Facebook room. The other thing is that I wanted to create and use an app that there's no hard breakup. And what I mean by that is if you have an agent that has been invited into the room and they're not performing, you don't have to go through all this drama of not having them in there. You can just remove them from the room on the app. It's just
goodbye, stupid.
No more. Exactly. Just done. And so there's no hard breakup, and nobody's feelings are hurt, because my goal is not to hurt anyone's feelings through this process. It's just to help people. Mm-hmm. And if you're not pulling your weight and you're in a room full of other people who are, then you're just bringing the average down.
Yeah, you really are. And one thing that Matt and I get to talk to a lot of wonderful people on the show, but the one thing that exudes out of you is the genuineness that you want to help. I mean, even in pre-show conversation, right now live on the show, and then on the recording, you really, I actually buy the fact that you really want to help people. So it's a very good cloaking job you're doing.
Masterful at faking sincerity. It's fantastic.
I gotta wear this for every listing appointment.
That's hilarious.
Now there's 2 other modules that's going to kick into this. So if somebody wanted to kick off a team and just stay with that part of it, that's absolutely fantastic. You can do that. It's going to work. It's going to win. But there is another module that you can plug in or choose not to that will actually help you use this part of the process to beta test or to find out who are good agents and how do they perform and what are their conversion numbers. What I will say is behind the scenes, I also have a virtual assistant, and she goes in daily and updates spreadsheets for each agent on the leads that they have received in or they've accepted in, and we will send that to them and want a weekly update. So when I do the phone calls Tuesday morning, I need to see their spreadsheets Monday so I can see what they're having issues with or what they're struggling with. And that was a needed component, because you have to hold the lead accountable. You have to hold the agent accountable. You have to inspect what you expect, and if you don't, then it's just going to turn into just a big pile of mush. But with the accountability, that helps get a better experience.
Okay, so break down for a second what's on that report that you're looking at.
The report that the virtual prepares is the lead. Each agent has their own spreadsheet. We want to know the lead and what information we captured, so it could be their name, their email, or their address. It could be just certain parts of it, because some of our leads coming in just have a phone number. And the action the agent took, times and dates, when's the next follow-up, and if it's a dead lead or an active lead is what we need to know.
There's another company out there called Movoto. They're like the mapping solution. They're kind of like Zillow or Trulia or anything else. They do something similar to you. And they have the same thing. It's like if they track everything, and if you don't respond to them, like if you don't do your job, they do the bye-bye stupid button as well. And it's a great way to do it, because real estate agents, we're motivated by money or free booze or free food. It really doesn't. Trifecta.
Depends on what you're trying to get agents to do.
Yeah.
Go up in a room, buy something. Yeah.
But it's awesome. We all love money. I mean, that's why we're in here, because we want to make a lot of money, not have a boss, blah, blah, blah. But if you're like, hey, look, this is on you. If you don't follow up, you don't get any more. Those who follow up get them all. If you're a Johnny on the spot or Rebecca on the spot, I don't want to be sexist.
It's not going down through a list saying this person gets the next lead. It's the first one to raise their hand gets the lead. So some of what I was struggling with when I had a traditional team was, people are married, they have children, they have events, they have other things, and at the end of the day, it was still my neck on the line, so it was me that was having to follow up, because somebody has to. And this way, that doesn't happen. There's always somebody available. And once this room is full with 10 agents, I had originally thought 20, but I think keeping it intimate, the other benefit is that I allow the agents who are in that room to use that room to help themselves. So if they have a buyer and they're out of town, or if they're at a place where they can't get to a lead, they can field on there and talk to another agent, say, hey, who's available to help me with my buyer? And they can take care of referring that or helping each other back and forth themselves. It's not something that just has to be mine, but it is something that they can use as a tool to help themselves too.
Interesting. So it's not your lead that's getting passed along again. It's Greg McDaniel, Matt is. We're both in your room. I get a buyer. I'm like, dude, I can't handle this. Matt goes, I'll do it. Great. Now I pay Matt a 25%. Or Matt pays me a 25% referral fee, right?
Yeah, and you guys will take that conversation outside of my room because
Right.
that's between the two of you. I know when I first got in the industry, sometimes it wasn't about exchanging referral fees. It was just, hey, I'm going to help you, and the next time I need help, you'll help me. Especially when you are, because that's a lot of money. And so I don't really care. I don't want them to have that discussion on what they're doing. I just want, if you need to use it to say, hey, I need some help, who's available, raise your hand.
Gotcha.
Again, that comes from your heart of giving because you're like, look, there's more money there. You guys keep it. You guys deal with it. I'll just keep my side of it, and we'll call it a day, right?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so let's back up one step, and then we'll come back, and I want to get into the accountability and coaching piece of it, which I think if anybody's serious about going in that direction, that's a whole other conversation. So we'll get to that, but let's start with the nuts and bolts stuff of somebody that wants to put themselves in position to generate more leads than they can handle so that they can look at bringing other agents on to help them handle the overflow. So first of all, how are you generating the listing leads for the listings that you're taking, and then what's your marketing program that's generating the buyer leads on top of the listings?
Okay, those are great questions. To start with, within my first year, I'd hired a coach because if you're new, I didn't know what I needed. I knew that I didn't know everything, and I needed to get some people to help me, and so I started tracking my numbers. That is the most important. It was the hardest part that I had to learn. I did not like it. I hated it. My first coach said, Char, numbers are sexy, and I was like, numbers are not sexy. I hate numbers. I can't stand numbers. There's nothing sexy about numbers. And so I started, and it's a process. It's a morphine process, but now I track where the lead came from, how many days on market, the buy side, the list side, because I know that I have to be at least a 70-30 split in order to be able to field off the leads. And 70% listings, 30% buyers. You could probably flex down into the 60s on the listing side, but until you're on that side, you probably will not have enough business coming in to be able to field that out. And so once you get to that, and you'll know it because you're just busy. You're busy as heck, and you're going crazy. And I knew it was the beginning of last year. My focus was making sure that I was focusing more on listings. So if I had the choice between a listing or a buyer, I'm really going to make sure I take that listing appointment. If it's a $100,000 listing over a $300,000 buyer, I'm going to take the listing appointment because that is going to make me more money.
Long term.
Long term, yeah.
Okay.
It's an investment, and really pray that I was really nice to that $300,000 buyer and maybe get him. And if I couldn't, then I'd see if I had somebody who would be willing to share it or split it half and half. So that
you're tracking numbers, which is great, but what's your activities? What are you tracking that's generating the listings?
I do a lot of networking. A lot of mine is FaceTime, of getting in front of people. So if you're like a little toad of a person, it's probably not networking. But the networking is very good. I do morning networking, afternoon networking, evening networking. I love getting in front of people and doing that from a way that comes from contributions of connecting dots. And when you are always dealing with people in a very transparent, honest way, it just spreads. I'm on the phone a little bit. I don't do, I hear the traditional person state that it's 3 hours of lead gen that's on the phone. I would say that I do at least 3 hours of networking, and social media is absolutely huge. And it's an updated process. I didn't do what was being taught to me. I did what got my attention. And so a lot of it was I paid attention to what was getting my attention. When I'm at home at night, what am I looking at? When I'm looking through streams, what am I stopping to watch? And I started doing videos about 2 years ago. Stupid videos too. Like I'm in the car with a snotty nose, cold hat, winter day, because I just tried to fight with this. In Iowa, you put a sign in the ground in January.
Good luck.
I did it out.
Bring a sledgehammer.
Out with this sign and just created a stupid little video and turned the video around and showed people, I need your help. And you know what? Within 3 hours, somebody went by and took my sign out, and it was at my office. So, it was a huge social media, but then staying in touch and putting content out there that people enjoy watching and just being upbeat and positive. I remember, my own personal motto is there's enough negative out there. If I'm going to put something out in the world, it's going to be positive. And so on my Facebook, it's always going to be positive. It's always going to build people up. It's always going to build me up. And so it's becoming a resource for people to come find. And then always sharing my wins. when I was brand new, one of the things I would do, especially with buyer's agents that will brand yourself as a selling agent, is when I knew they were writing the offer, I would make sure I'm taking a picture of us writing the offer. When we did inspection, I would throw a sold sign in their hand and stand them on the front porch and take a picture, because we're branding sold. Even though it's the buyer side, I'm branding sold. And then
That's great. That's a great tip.
So from one buyer, from one buyer, I would brand 3 sold experiences, but it's one buyer. And so really just pushing that out there, because when people want sold, now they're thinking me.
Yeah.
I love that. Two questions for you. Hold on. Brand sold. I am taking notes. Legitimately, I'm taking notes. Okay. 2 things. One, well, I want to talk about social media in a second, but one question here. Who owns the lead after handed off? Is it still yours that they represent, or do you hand it off, you get a one-time payment, and now it's, Matt Johnson, your realtor extraordinaire's lead and client?
And you know what? Your word is only as good as you are. So if I field you a lead, and you know what, I may not catch it. I do have they're not teenagers anymore, they're college kids now, and I know I may not have caught them the first time they did something naughty, but I'd catch them eventually if they keep doing it. And so I'll trust the process. And when your mindset's in abundance, you won't track the little things. So I know that I'm dealing with some of the best agents, because the lenders have told me that.
Right. No. I think what my question is not the quality of the agent. I just want to make sure, like when you hand it off. So if I'm the buyer, Matt, I called you, but then I started working with Matt. Now Matt would retain and follow up and send the Christmas cards and everything else too, and then I would then call Matt and that you'd be out of it, and that's it, right?
Well, you would hope that they're going to. Yes, you're absolutely right.
That's two separate questions. Like, I'm sure you're retaining them in your database and following up, right?
Correct. They are in my database too. And the average agent only like 5%, 3% actually keeps a database and does follow up.
Oh,
so they're going in my database too.
It's horrible.
But once the lead is handed off, it's effectively theirs to drop the ball or not.
Yes, and the other nice thing is I want the referral fee on the side that they were calling me on, which is probably the buyer side. So if they ended up getting a listing out of it, I don't expect any referral fee on that, because they did their job. They asked the question, and that's theirs to do. And you know what I would be willing to do is I would even be willing to pay them a 25% referral fee if they want me to show them how I list homes. So the agent could use that as a nugget to learn and get them sold quickly.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. So social media, here's my second question. Social media, you said you jumped into the video. I browbeat people on a daily basis with how to start doing video, and everyone's like, oh, I'm afraid. I sound horrible. I look horrible. I'm like, well, those are both true. But, let's move forward. But how did you get into social media? What did you start doing? That you're just like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to do it. And where did you jump in, and what were some content you started putting out there? Just for some people who are hearing this and they're on that fence of should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? In today's day and age, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook Live, Periscope, all of these things, where would you start?
I would start personally with Facebook. Facebook, there's an app I use that's called If This Then That. Yeah. And when you post something to Facebook, you can have it feed through to that app that will feed through to the rest. And so Facebook or Google Plus, those are actually pretty even. But they don't get along, so you're going to have to do them separate. What I would say, make the video and then don't watch it. You'll know if you feel good about it. If you're kind of, oh my gosh, I can't listen to myself, then don't watch it. Just post it, because that's you, and that's what you look like every day. And so just post it. And, if it's goofy or silly, people need that. And be positive. That's always it. When I had aha moments with buyers or sellers, I would create a video. And what I mean is, one time I had met with a buyer, and they shared with me that they thought that they had to call the person whose sign was in the front yard, that they couldn't just call an agent that would help them with all of it. And it's a very common misconception that first-time buyers would have. So create a video and stand in front of somebody else's sign and be like, hey, guess what? You can call me on this house. Now, block out the sign, or make sure it's not only
make sure it's a friend sign.
Yeah. Probably don't do that. Just do your own sign.
Just go to the top agent in town. Just stand in front of one of their listings. You can call me on this house.
Yeah.
I just choked on water going, I just visually saw you in front of one of my signs. Hey, don't call these douchebags. Call me.
Call me.
I'm better looking than they are.
Yeah. Yes. And then putting out challenges. Like I had put out a challenge out there that was giving a gift card for every listing that you would stand in front of my sign in the front yard with thumbs up and post on your Facebook page. because people, and I would send gift cards for that. And so, but you have to tag me. And now I get exposed to all of them. And so my darn kids, this is when they were in high school, my darn kids cost me a fortune, because they would get their friends and they'd go on these marathon neighborhood hunts for my listings and just stand there with thumbs up in front of my listings. And so it's just fun. I had people in North Carolina bring my listings up on their computers and take a picture standing in front of the computer of my listing with their thumbs up. It was cute. It was cute to see what people do. And
That's really
it's
good.
fun. Because I was thinking, what would I do? Would I be willing to do that? On a board day, I might be doing that.
Yeah, you sound like you get a lot of downtime.
Yeah, exactly. Just tap into that vast amount of downtime. All right, well, so we'll need to wrap things up here. It sounds like we might need to have you on. There's another podcast I have in mind where we can potentially go deeper on the agent accountability and coaching part, because that's super, super interesting, and that's where I feel like this whole thing can potentially fall apart if you have the wrong mindset. So I want to touch on that real quick. Let's set aside just the mechanics of keeping people accountable and the structure and some of the coaching, tactics and stuff. We can get into that on another podcast. But what's some of the, like, going a little bit deeper into the mindset of what it takes to really come from contribution, in the sense that you're passing off these leads and you're holding people accountable. Like, accountability only works under the right mindset. So what would you like? Just what's some words of parting advice for somebody that might be looking to get into this type of team structure?
Well, and knowing that good leaders build leaders, and this system is the first few steps of building future mega agents and future leaders, and not to be threatened by it. Because if I'm going to lose a listing in the future to somebody, I would much rather lose it to somebody who I know I've helped and I've walked the walk that they've seen, that they know that this is not, it can be an industry of backstabbing, but it does not have to be, and you can be very successful at a very, very high level without doing that.
Yeah, you really can. And those agents do stand out. And I think with what you're doing, I think you're going to start a trend of people saying, look, this woman is killing it in this business. She's positive, she's upbeat, she's kind. She has the industry as a whole in her mind as to make it a better place. If she can do it, why do I have to be such a biznatch and try to backstab and call other people's eyes out?
Well, can I also share? Look at how much time I was out of my business and how much training I had to have. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was able to implement this immediately and just start walking the walk and be open and coachable. That's probably the most. It's just being able to be coachable, and not just from my business coach, but also these new agents are teaching me as much as I'm teaching them.
Yeah. They really are, because they have a lot of ideas, and you see me writing furiously over here. You've given me a couple of nuggets. I am gonna do that. That thumbs up idea, so happening.
It's so fun.
You should have. That was a great idea back when you guys had your branded moving truck. You guys should have had people take pictures in front of your smiling mugs on the side of that giant truck.
And you get a bonus gift certificate if there's no black teeth.
Or Hitler mustaches. Yeah.
Yes, which we got a lot of.
All right, guys. So, Char, how can people get in contact with you to send referrals to your lovely team in Des Moines?
Thanks for asking. You can find me. The easiest is I am the only Char Klisares in the whole wide world. So just Google me. You can find me on Facebook. I've got my Facebook page. I also have my real estate business page, and I also have coaching and speaking myself. So I've got a few different pages. Just look up my name, and you friend them all, like them all. Like just one. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going away. It's only going to get better.
That's awesome. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to be here.
I am.
You're missing out.
Yeah, so when you say speaking and coaching and stuff, like if somebody wanted to implement this model and they feel like they're at the stage where they have the overflow of leads that they would need, but they need help on structuring and just the mechanics of how do I find the agents, how do I send the leads out, how do I hold people accountable, is that what you're talking about? Like they could come to you and do coaching with you to set all that stuff up?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, definitely take advantage of that. That's a no-brainer.
No, yeah, absolutely.
All right, Greg, so quickly, how do people get in contact with you for the McDaniel Challenge?
You guys are going to dial with these nubby little fingers of yours. You're going to dial these numbers in a sequential order. 925.
Why are you assuming their fingers are nubby?
Because they're just they're your kids, Matt.
They're my kids. 3 obese, sausage-fingered, diabetic, lacto-ovarian, lacto-ovo-vegetarian kids I have.
Yeah, with bad acne.
Now they have acne. Great.
Yeah,
now they have
they're
acne.
getting older.
That's fantastic. Okay.
and stinky feet. A lot of foot. So dial 925-915-1978, guys. Again, 925-915-1978. It is my personal private cell phone. Look, hold on. Yep, still works. And you guys will get an hour to an hour and a half, and maybe even 2 hours. It really depends on kind of how messed up you are, how much time we need to spend to talk. But it's going to be time for us to do some private coaching. There's 100% free, 100% free. No, I'm not going to ask you for a credit card at the end of the deal, okay? Just get on the call, guys. Hang out with me. We're going to have a couple of beers, chat, have some laughs. Get to know each other a little bit. It's a lot of fun, I promise. I haven't bitten one client yet. Oh, Matt, I lied to you. It's September. Zing!
Just one, but not hard. Okay. Are you into September? Greg,
no,
is that the
it's
deal?
September 1st, guys. Wow, the no month. Okay, now it's the
We're
rock.
2 months out on the McDaniel Challenge. Good Lord, guys.
Yeah, guys, you guys are amazing, wonderful, incredible human beings. I love getting to know all you guys. Oh, and Gory, shout out to you. Love getting to hang out with you last night, and you got your listing presentation all taken care of. I see wonderful things in your future. So, guys, please, hashtag don't let Greg spend the night alone. We truly mean that. I call Matt, I harass him. Now that Char texted me, now I have her number. Now I'm going to call her if you guys don't book a night. So, double trouble.
Right, nobody needs that. Oh, all right, guys. So 925-915-1978 call or text Greg, and then make sure to go to gregsmarketingexamples.com, see what viral marketing does for him to help him pull more repeat and referral deals out of his database, and then homing in, go download the app immediately. It's free. Homeowners are already downloading it and requesting home evaluations from real agents like you. So here's a thought. Don't let the next Zillow or Trulia take over our seller leads too. How about we keep that in-house and use an app that was actually created by someone that's in real estate in the trenches every day running a team right here in San Diego, Christian Peter, who's been on the show before. Him and his business partner Todd Miller created this app. It's phenomenal. So go download it, check it out. There's probably seller leads already waiting depending on your area, and you may be able to respond and take a listing right away from that. So go download Homing In. With that, guys, we are out. We've got another great interview on Friday. Greg, you have anything else that you want to contribute? Of course you do.
Quick, guys, remember, go into join the Lead Gen Scripts and Objections Facebook page there. Aaron's at 22,340 members with 287 new members just in the last week or two. It's so cool, guys. You guys can type in a question or anything like for Lead Gen Scripts Objections, and people get back to you. They'll help you. So it's a cool page, and so just as a resource, go check it out.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we've got another interview on Friday. Strikingly, it's with an agent in the same area, which I didn't know, and we booked him for completely different reasons. But Misty Solchwich is coming up on the program on Friday, so we're excited for that. So that is Friday, and we've got one really good interview next Friday. So here's the deal, guys. With the show next week, I will be traveling. We've got the holiday on Monday. I'll be in Chicago at a podcasting event on Wednesday. So, Greg, you're running the show on Friday.
Yes!
By yourself. The only episode of the week.
God! Finally, you put me in charge again where I fully belong.
Yeah, right. All right. So that's what you guys have to look forward to, sadly. All right, guys. But until then, you have me for one more episode for a little bit. So we will see you guys on Friday.
Bye, guys.